Welcome to Political Star Talk, an enlightened show about astrology, politics, and the betterment of our society. Join your hostesses Jennie, Sonya, and Sibyl for an hour in the stars. This is Political Star Talk.
Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Political Star Talk. You're here with myself, Jennie McDaniel, and we have the lovely Sibyl Starr. Sibyl, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Wonderful. And the equally as lovely Sonya Spirit. Sonya, how are you?
I am well, and happy hump day to all of our listeners.
Happy Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about the Libra New Moon, Mercury retrograde, and the continuing Mars retrograde, as well as some other aspects. And as usual, I'm just going to hand it right over to Sibyl, and she's going to dig in where she feels best.
Okay, all right. Well, hello, everyone. Yes, the astrology is certainly reflecting our world, or the astrology is driving our world. I mean, they're both there, as within, so without, as above, so below. We are just simply in times of great transition. That's where we are. And the old is falling away. And I just came to an awareness. I've been talking about these the Pluto-Saturn conjunction. And of course, recently Mars interacting with it. And about how that is so much about the veil falling, the shadow coming forward, being able to see what's going on behind the scenes, becoming aware, as hard as it is, and all the lies we have been told for so long. But the real awareness came that the biggest lie is that we are only physical beings, that this is all there is. And I absolutely feel like we are moving into the Aquarian Age in a really big way, and I'll share kind of at the end of this talk more about that. But that, I believe, is what the Aquarian Age is about. It is about that remembering our cosmic connections. Aquarius is very much about being true to oneself. It is about to thine own self be true, and to remember our true nature, our authentic nature, who we really are, and our connection to more than just this physical world. And the physical world, of course, is wonderful. It is a manifestation. It is, and as we say, and this is God too, everything is. But I feel like as things are falling away, and the uncertainty and the uncertainty comes in, that we're in a transition stage. We are not who we used to be, and we are not yet where we are going. And in this process, the key is to remember, the separation from source, that we are not separated from source, that we are, everything is energy. I feel like as we are moving from an understanding of the nature of reality, from a Newtonian physics space where everything is physical and everything is a machine, into the quantum field where everything is energy. And it's a remembering. And so anyway, a lot of the things I'm going to be saying today are kind of prefaced on that, as well as this physical world and what is happening. In many ways, I really feel like, as they say, the train has left the station on the election. That train is hurtling forward, and I certainly am not saying don't vote. I'm saying vote. Do whatever you can to make this world a better place. But I feel like the corruption is so intense, so deep, and we're going to find out. That's what we're going to just find out. And that this is really, we're moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. And Pisces is about a savior. And there's no one coming to save us, because we are remembering who we are as the powerful beings that we are. And as they've been said, the quote, is said, we are the ones we've been waiting for. And it is for our remembering of who we are, and to no longer put up with people who don't serve us. Every political side is lying. I mean, they're all lying. No matter what they're not serving the people. We know that. We're trying to choose the lesser of two evils when they're both equally evil in just different ways. Okay. And it's the organizations, it's the institutions. I'm not saying it's the people, although there are people at the heart of those institutions that certainly do not have the well-being of Mother Earth and all her children as their priority. And so I feel like this is the core of what is actually happening. But let's just get into the astrology and how to move through this. The astrology is often not only telling us what's happening, but how to manage this energy, how to utilize it to our best benefit for our highest good, and to always remember this is the external reality. As they say, we create our own reality. We don't necessarily create every external event that is happening. How we do create our reality is our response to it. So everyone's experience of the reality is different, depending on how they respond to the external events. And as we respond, as Sonya was talking about earlier, from a higher vibrational level, we actually create the world differently. Okay? So, all right, so to start with, we have the Libra New Moon, which, let me see, when does that happen? That happens on the 23 degrees, 53 minutes of Libra on October 16th at 12:32 p.m. Pacific time. All right. So this Libra New Moon is in a very tight opposition to Mars retrograde and what is she called? Dwarf planet Eris. They are in an opposition. Is about finding balance, and it's about integration. And it's two sides of the same coin. So the Libra Aries opposite, that Libra Aries energy is just very, very strong. And Mars in Libra in Aries is in its own sign, so it makes it incredibly strong. But the Sun and the Moon are both in Libra, so they're incredibly strong too. So it is about that balance, and so and of course they're also in a square, and a square is like is a challenge, and then both are at 90-degree angles. That's a square, so it's kind of like like a T. Okay. It's actually what it's called is a T-square. It looks like a T, and so squares are dynamic. They make things happen, and so the Sun and Moon in Libra. Libra, I feel like in this time, it's associated with the goddess Ma'at, and Ma'at is actually a concept in Egyptian cosmology. It's about when everything is in right order, right alignment. It's cosmic truth, it's justice, but it is about right order and right alignment. And of course, we know we are not in right order and right alignment in many ways. But the truth is also, like I said, we are transitioning. We are transitioning out of an old paradigm into a new paradigm because the old paradigm is so out of alignment. With truth, with integrity, with cosmic law, with the way we know things should be. And should be means by living from the heart, caring for others, caring for Mother Earth, living with our own truth, all of those different things. But Libra also brings in the concept of balance, peace, and equanimity. And so there is a huge piece of equanimity, I believe, that Libra is bringing to this situation, which is about staying centered in our own heart, in being present, being in a place of inner peace on some level, even though we know we're in great uncertainty. but to be centered within ourselves. It's like being grounded, being centered, making sure to do that every day, to start your day in a place where you're connected with yourself, with cosmic truth, with higher dimensions, with Creator, with Spirit, with nature, whatever brings you into your own harmonious space, so that when you go out into the world, which is the Mars in Aries, is about action. So it's like, and Mars is retrograde. And of course, retrograde always makes us go within and look at our own motives, our own triggers. So how can we actually be effective in the world? Mars and Aries can just take us into rage. And we don't really get a lot done when we're in rage. We're just throwing our energy around. And we know that anger can be a great motivator, and that's Mars and Aries. But the key is to be settled within yourself. So it is coming from, it is anger around injustice that is coming from a place of wanting things to come into balance, to be in balance ourselves. It's like we can't create change if we're not in balance ourselves. And so I feel like that's one of the really big challenges, is as we are trying to be effective in this world, is to look at our own, that Mars retrograde makes us look at our own triggers. Okay, are we triggered? And this is why are we triggered and reacting, or are we responding to an injustice from a place of equanimity and effective? Okay, so, I think those, and so it requires a certain amount of objectivity, of recognizing our own triggers. Of course, Mars is tightly conjunct this dwarf planet Eris, which I've talked about before, and she is the goddess of chaos and discord. She's also the feminine warrior, and I've talked about her a lot. But in her more shadow side, when she's not being heard or listened to, she can wreak havoc, okay? And we see that going on in our world right now. And they're in the square to this Saturn-Pluto, which is really about transformation of society. Like, it's time for this paradigm to shift. And the thing is, it is falling. No matter who wins, this is not the paradigm that our consciousness is aligned with. Or let's put it this way: the new energy that is coming in, the higher vibration that is coming in. This is not the energy that we are aligned with. And so it's not about fixing what is. It just isn't. We can't make it. We can't fix it. It is about we're kind of in a dark night of the soul, collectively, and it's going to put many of us personally in there. And I don't know, I have certainly been through dark nights of the soul before, and so it's kind of like it's being in the void. It's all of the ways that we have known how the world works. All of our perceptions are changing. But it allows for great opportunity to come in, because there is a new energy wanting to come in. But it's also to remember that the old energy does not want to let go. It's got the power, it's got what it needs, and it wants more. But there is more coming in. And the key is, the more we can align with our true, authentic selves, and be in a place of equanimity, of balance, of inner balance, the more we're going to weather we're in turbulent waters. We're just simply in turbulent waters. And so how do each of us move through that? Like I said, personally, I feel like this train has left the station on this election, and there are powers greater than the President of the United States that are actually in charge. And whoever it's going to be, it's going to be. That's where I feel like. And although I am going to vote, and I've decided I am going to vote Libertarian, I have decided I am a social libertarian. I cannot put my energy behind either party, although I recognize in the Democratic Party there are some really wonderful people, and there's probably wonderful people in both parties. I just don't know the Republicans that well. There's young people that are visionaries, that are, have so much to offer. So I may still vote for the Democrats. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, it's not decided. But I don't feel like they have much of a voice in the Democratic Party. I mean, they're going to give them a little, like they have this platform. But are they going to do any of it? They never do. They always say they're going to do stuff that they never do. I don't trust them, and I'm certainly very concerned about the Democrats and their alignment with the lockdown and, the greater powers that are wanting to take us in a direction, which is not in particular, it is really not in the highest good of the people. And the Republicans, of course, and they want to basically fleece us. They want to steal everything. So it's like, they have too much power. A two-party system just doesn't work. And this may be part of our future, if the United States actually survives this, is to really start looking at different governance models. We've got to, because these two parties, they have way too much power, and neither one of them serve the people. They are both in service to the bankers, the financiers, the corporations, whoever the moneyed people are, and it is not serving the people. And so, I feel like as, let me stay into the astrology, then I'll get ahead again. Okay, so the second thing that is happening, of course, that is so big, is Mercury goes retrograde. And, Mercury is going to be retrograde for the rest of this election cycle. It does not go direct until Election Day. And as we know, Mercury retrograde brings in every sort of communication error. My computer, we're still in just the zone. We're not even there. And already my email doesn't work. My Word doesn't work. My Hightail, which I send my videos and my readings out on, doesn't work. After I finish the program today, I'm going to be online with Microsoft for many hours trying to fix everything, and hopefully it can be fixed. And it's the second time it's happened. So the mail. I mean, we already know the mail is just, the polling places. I mean, this, it is a huge. It's kind of like, okay, all right. Let me finish this. All right. So this Mercury retrograde is opposite Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus says, expect the unexpected. It's almost, like I said, I feel like this train has left the station, and to know that it is in the hands of spirit, and whatever happens, happens, and to just kind of follow that flow and to follow synchronicities. And I'm certainly not saying not vote. Do whatever you feel is in the highest good. But there are so many surprises coming. And Uranus in Taurus, opposite Mercury in Scorpio, is also, like I said, it has to do with the weather. These are the two planets that have the most to do with weather. And they are activating each other during the end of this election cycle. And, Scorpio is a water planet. And, there could, any kind of weather event could happen. But certainly in water, one would think there could be some big storms, okay? And it can also, secret things coming out that have not been known before that can upend everything. So, and let's see, and you see, it goes retrograde on, let's see, at 11 degrees on October 13th at 2:06 p.m. Pacific. And it's retrograde for 3 weeks. Like I said, it goes direct on Election Day. So just, and so the key is in this equanimity, do not let yourself get distracted by everything that comes out, what you're told to be afraid of, what you're told to be enraged about. God, there'll be probably a gazillion breaking news flashes telling you what you're supposed, like I said, what you're supposed to be afraid of or what you're supposed to be enraged about. And whatever, stupid thing Trump does, whatever stupid thing Biden does, whatever anything, it's just going to be magnified all over the airwaves. This whole charade, what it says to me, of Trump's illness. I mean, look how much attention he got. Look how many, he's behind in the polls. All this airwaves. Was he even actually sick? I don't know, but I do know that he's a germaphobe, and if he tested positive, he was afraid, and he wanted everything done for himself. And he also wanted tremendous amounts of attention. He's a freaking reality show star. And of course the Democrats are just going berserk over whether he's wearing a mask, not wearing a mask. You're at the Rose Garden event. There's like over 100 people. 7 people tested positive who were there, and one of them was wearing a mask, and one got sick. Nobody else has gotten sick. I mean, this is still all part of the same scenario to keep everything stirred up, to keep us afraid, and to keep people divided. That's, of course, the other thing, the divisive thing. We are moving into unity consciousness. It is just so important to look in our own hearts, because when this is over, we are moving into a heart space. I believe as we move into the age of Aquarius, which there's going to be a big leap of this at the end of the year with this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in Aquarius that happens on December 21st on the winter solstice, actually on the winter solstice, which is the time of the year when we plant the new seed and the sun starts to grow again in light. But it hovers for 3 days, and I'm doing a class on Egyptian cosmology, and I just had this huge insight about the sun, about the spirit and Ra, and how when life begins, it begins with a huge spark of light. They saw a video. There was a video they were talking about where they somehow, I don't know how they did this, but they had the moment of when the ovum was fertilized by the sperm, and there's actually a flash of light. And, so on the winter solstice, when the sun, if that's what it feels like, the seed we are planting, there is the flash of light, of life force, because the light is the life force that happens, that activates the growth. And so we have this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, which is very much about manifesting the Aquarian Age. This energy is really coming in, and it is about coming from a heart space. It is coming from that place of remembering that we are all connected. It is a place of remembering we are all connected in the universe, in the cosmos. We are not alone. We are never alone, even though it feels like that. And Aquarius is so much connected to the quantum field. I feel like it is this big shift of understanding that we are actually creators. That spark of light is what is within each one of us, and we are creating a new world. But the thing is the fear of letting the old go as we are in this transition phase. And what is the best course of action? Because we know people are suffering. And so it's kind of like still having one foot in both worlds. We're still here trying to, I know what it's about. It's all about our relations. Libra is saying it's all about our relations and how we treat each other. So often we cannot change the outer circumstances. We can do our best, but the key is how do we treat each other in these transition times? It's all about the heart, and it's all about remembering who we are. That's why I feel like this is happening. But like I said, moving through these times, it is about staying centered within yourself, grounded, non-reactive to every crazy thing that goes along, and to really look at how we can be most effective. First it's about re-identifying our goals. What are our goals, and how can we be most effective here? Knowing that we are in the void, we are in a transition space, and things can never go back to where they are. So how do we care for each other in these times as we move forward? So anyway, that's what the stars are saying to me.
When does that Age of Aquarius come in? Is there a year?
No, there is no year. It's a space. It's a time. Okay. So what it is, it is when the spring equinox, the point of the spring equinox, enters into the astrological territory, I would say, of Aquarius, and we have one toe in it. At least that's how it's explained. But I think it's much bigger than that. It also has to do with the end of the Mayan calendar, which is about our place in the cosmos, and where we're moving more into the center of the Milky Way. It's where we are in our relationship to the Milky Way and the cosmic energies and forces that are coming in. And it is a space. They say it's like 160 years often is the actual transition time. But I feel things are moving more quickly. I think we're not on Chronos time anymore. We're now on Kairos time. We are in a different time space, and things are moving much more quickly, and I feel like we are moving more into the heart of the Aquarian Age than we have in the past because of where we are in our relationship to the Milky Way and the galactic center.
Awesome, because I know that real famous song came out in the 60s talking about the Age of Aquarius, and I was thinking maybe it had started back then, but you're saying it's kind of like a shift, and we're kind of going through it and into it. We got a toe in, so makes sense why they were singing about it back then.
I think we're more than a toe in. I'm going to say astronomers would say we're a toe in. Okay, I'm going to say energetically we're swimming. And I feel like December 21st, 2020, with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius is like a big launching pad. We've had, Uranus and Neptune have both gone through Aquarius. We're now getting Jupiter and Saturn, and then the next one will be Pluto. And so all of the outer planets will have gone through Aquarius by the time I die, basically, and or whenever my death is. Let's say within the next 25 years, okay? And I feel like with the outer planets having gone through and bringing that energy in, and time is just moving more quickly. I mean, doesn't it feel like that to you?
Yes.
Yes, and so it is. We are. And so we are much more than a toe in Aquarius, but on winter solstice it will be a big leap.
Jump right in the pool.
You're right,
Yeah.
Jump right in the pool.
Well, I certainly appreciate hearing about the winter solstice this year because I feel like, and we've been talking about this off and on, that energetically something is going to happen. And even like a couple of weeks ago prior to the show, we were talking about how we felt that there was going to be a lot of energy around the election, and not necessarily good, bad, or indifferent, but there will be a lot of activity. It's just not going to be a seamless process as usual. Right. I don't think.
Absolutely. Right, because Mars is still retrograde after the election, and then there's a big eclipse that activates Trump's chart in a really big way, which, I think I don't know if I shared last time all the stuff I think I did that was going on with his chart, but, it could well be that what he has come to do, he has done. He's a catalyst, he's a trickster, he's a master of mayhem, and we're in chaos. He came to be the master of, this is just my own thoughts, from a spiritual level, and I'm not saying he's doing it well,
Right.
But he came to stir the pot to make this chaos move along more quickly.
Agreed.
Because like everyone said, if Hillary Clinton would have won that last election, we'd still be
in the dark.
In the dark, right? And it may be he's done what he came to do, because the energy starting with winter solstice is certainly calmer than this is. So it may be that the chaos is not done. The chaos has started, and now, and so, and the thing that I am hoping is that there is some balance, since they both bring, such challenging policies for the American people. Both of them do. And, the Democrats aren't even on board with the Green New Deal. I mean, they're not even, their version of clean energy is nuclear. It's like we try to fool ourselves to believe that they are the party they're the people that are going to save us. It is not true.
No one's going to. We need to get past the whole concept of anyone saving anyone. There is no Captain Save-A-Me. There is none. Not in the form of a government, not in the form of Jesus. There is no Captain Save-A-Me. And the sooner people come to the reality that they are responsible for their own life, the better off they will be, because then they can start healing and moving in the right direction. But as long as we look for someone else to save us from our station in life, we will continue to be lost, consciously speaking.
Exactly.
Very interesting, because Sibyl was saying we're moving from the age of Pisces, which is that savior mentality, kind of when Jesus showed up a couple thousand years ago in the Pisces age. Now we're moving into the Aquarius age, which is there is no savior. We have to let go of that mentality that's been shoved down our throats forever, that just hold space and it'll be taken care of. No, dig in, move forward, and grow. That's the answer. So like Sibyl said, it's going to be tricky and difficult to shed that old and bring in the new. But here we are in the middle of that turbulent space.
And I agree, just like Sibyl was saying earlier about how we have the consciousness have shifted from just identifying as physical beings. And many of us, or eventually it's unfolding where we are awakening to understanding that no, we're not physical beings, not even by any stretch of the imagination. This is just a great outfit to have on. But but we are actually energetic beings, and in order for us to be visible, to experience, we have to have this physical manifestation. But the shift is changing, and it really is all about perspective too. People do not understand. They are imprisoning themselves. I understand that it's through years of conditioning. I get that. But listen, as long as it took for people to condition us, we can easily shake that off. It will take as long or as little as we allow it. That's why you have some people who can stop smoking cold turkey, and other people need patches and everything else, hypnotherapy and everything else, vaping, just to wean themselves off of the concept. But it all begins within your mind. What can you do? What are you capable of doing? How much faith do you have in your own ability? Because it's there. Okay, I'm done.
That's good. I like that. It's taking responsibility and putting one foot in front of the other. And I, as a psychic and a healer and a life coach of sorts, spiritual coach, I see that people struggle on that the most. It's like they're stuck in fear and stress and have a hard time breaking out of that mold. And man, if this is not the perfect time to go ahead and start getting different habits. In fact, I actually went to school for hypnotherapy with Sonya Spirit. That's how I met her. But there's this book that's sitting right in front of my face, and I have to say the name of it, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And
Joe D. Everybody knows Joe Dispenza.
I'm like, ooh, man, that should be like our textbook for the planet moving forward. Get it in every language, put it out there, so that we can break these patterns.
It's more like breaking the habit of being who you think you are.
Right. Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
That's better. We're going to write them.
Yeah, or who you believe yourself to be. Right. Yeah, because, the Aquarian Age, Aquarius does rule groups, but it also rules individuation, which, it's like, how can that be? Well, what it is about, it is about thinking for yourself, being your authentic self in a group. That's how you make a strong, conscious collective. When everybody has the herd mentality, or everybody thinks the same way, but Aquarius is really teaching us to remember of who each of us are, and then we can connect with each other and create something else. But we need to every one of us needs to stand up to, every one of us needs to bring to the table who we truly are, our true authentic selves. That's, and the other thing is with, moving into a new paradigm, it's so important to be open to what we believe to be impossible. Just because something has never been doesn't mean that it can't be. And to just open, like somebody said, do we even need a government? Well, do we?
Nope.
I
don't think so, but that's that's me.
Yeah.
I think we can work this out.
But you know what? But the thing is, Aquarius asks each one of us to do our own work, to come into our own self-empowerment, to then come together, and then we have all the tools we need. Right. And the other piece, of course, is coming from the heart, is remembering that it is to let the heart lead the way. The mind is in service to the heart. And this Aquarian age, it's about, the name, one of the concepts of Aquarius is namaste. It's the light in me honors the light in you, or the God in me honors the God in you. That's the Aquarian world. And as we work, as we remember, it's remembering that we are creators, and that it is remembering how to work in the quantum field, that every thought, word, action, emotion, feeling impacts it doesn't impact the field, because we are the field. And it creates the field around us. And that's how we create, when our vibration is coming from the heart, the frequency. Like Sonya, you were saying, everything is frequency. Or maybe it was somebody else saying that.
No, I was saying it.
I thought you said that, yeah. Everything is frequency. And so it is aligning with the frequency of love, and this is not pie in the sky stuff. This is part of remembering who we are.
Now, and I agree with you. Yes, we need to remember who we are, and that won't be easy either. So, and what I've tried to do on my show is help people to understand, listen, when we talk about frequencies and love, and I was saying earlier, we're not there yet. We have to grow our frequency, and growing our frequency is faith. It's all frequency. I mean, all faith is a confidence in God. It's either high or low, or it doesn't exist at all. But that's all it is. How much faith do you have in God? Like you were saying, getting away from believing in miracles. First of all, what is a miracle? Nothing is impossible through God. You know what I'm saying? So some of the things that we say don't even sound. It sounds foolish, There is no such thing as a miracle, because everything is possible. Any outcome we could